The fuck was that?
Okay, so I wanted to share my version of the Temporalis Autobomber. So this is a variant that uses poison prolif to spread the damage from greater lightning bolt across the screen. We use Plague Finger to let our elemental damage poison. And we use Cast on Dodge with Orb of Storms to trigger our poisons, our lightning bolts, at least for mapping. For our standard map clearing, we're basically just throwing down a Orb of Storms with our Cast on Dodge. This will chain across the enemies, and as it crits them, it will trigger lightning bolts. Lightning bolts will poison, and then the poison plus the lightning bolt damage will kill the unit and spread the poison, which will ideally proliferate across the screen. As we are just mapping along, we can kill bosses with Eye of Winter. So it'll proc enough lightning bolts that, you know, it's like a couple seconds to kill most bosses, few seconds at most. And then when we get to pinnacle bosses, what I do is I have a separate cast on crit setup that we basically just turn off cast on dodge, we turn on cast on crit, and we move our life tap down. And I've found an interaction with cast on crit, Fire the Storm, and 2 arcs. So if you have 2 arcs, it will permanently loop your cast on crit and your greater lightning bolts until you run out of a resource. So it almost works with 1 arc, but you have to get lucky with crits. If you have 2, you don't have to get nearly as lucky with crits. And it'll basically permanently chain loop your cast on crit and your lightning bolts. So our cast on dodge setup, we use a very low level Orb of Storms. 3 is the lowest we can get it to. You can maybe do like a -1. I'm not sure if that updates the mana cost or not. But we basically want the cheapest possible spell here, because all of our damage is coming from the lightning bolts, and we'll be spamming this. So we want to drain as few resources as possible. Use life tap, magnified effect, ambush, and chain ambush. Synergizes with our crit chance. If we can get to 50% crit chance, ambush will give us effectively 100% crit chance against full life enemies. So that helps to guarantee lightning bolt procs, which is the main driver of our poisons. So we have several reservations, which are enabled by a high spirit scepter, as well as a few things on the tree, which we'll talk about in a second. The important ones are Blink, Grim Feast for overcapping our energy shield, Herald of Plague for the prolifs, Archmage for the damage, cast on crit obviously, cast on dodge for our mapping. Arctic armor is optional. This is just nice we can spell leech when we get hit by a melee attack, so that's kind of nice. Mana Tempest for a little bit of damage on bosses. Not entirely necessary. I have Winter with Unleash and Wild Shards, and then 2 slots of whatever else you want. So we have 350 reserved. So you could probably get away with, if you didn't take this, you can probably get away with, what is that, 310? I would say a 310 minimum spirit requirement for this to come online. So that's the skill gem setup. Here we have a lightning wand, The important things here are just the plus to spell skills, crit chance, spell damage. Cast speed is not necessary for this build. Serious Disdain with plus Spirit. Cry of the Storm, obviously, with Voracious. Rings to patch up resistances and stats and get some rarity. Temporalis with... you probably want at least, like, 3 seconds. Minus 3 seconds. More is better. And Plague Finger, of course. Should be fairly straightforward. You can play around with different scepters or offhands as well if you want to tweak the reservations here. Alright, and our skill tree. So skill tree is just mostly travel to the jewel sockets. And we take all the crit on the tree. We go for a little bit of energy shield here, a little bit of mana scaling here. We take poison clusters here, here, and here to cap our crit chance, combined with 30% from Plague Finger. Lets us get to 100% fairly easily. You might just need a couple of these, like ailment chance. Chance to inflict ailment jewels to cap it all the way, but you don't even really need to cap it that much. Besides that, we take Against the Darkness with plus 12 to Spirit. And we have 6 notables here, giving us like 60, 70 something Spirit. And this one here is coming from Megalomaniac. So if you find a Megalomaniac with one of these notables plus something else useful, I got Dynamism. That's just a very good combination here to get a bunch of Spirit to help with those reservation costs. And then our jewels, we go for Energy Shield, Crit Chance, Crit Damage, Damaging Ailment, you inflict Magnitude. Probably need at least 1 recover mana on kill. Triggered spells deal damage. Fairly standard stuff there. And then our Ascendancy, of course, we take Sunder the Flesh and Vitality Siphon for the leech and the crit chance. Anyway, that's the build overview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will leave you with a clip of a map with, like, I don't know, half a dozen or so breaches. So it'll be a lengthy clip, but it'll give you an idea of kind of what it looks like once you've got all the pieces put together and you're doing some mapping, which is really where this build shines, is the breach clearing. And it just so happens to be half decent at bossing as well. So anyway, enjoy. what that was. Duck on all these walls, man. God, this arena, horrible. My God, there's so many breaches. Too many goddamn breaches. My fingers are gonna hurt picking up all these splinters, man. Map completed. Woohoo. Fucking army in here. Alright, was that the last one? Of course not.